Hello everyone, Krydex here, and welcome back to pYanodon's Season 3. I don't know why I said it like that. Anyway, we've got a lot to do. Main things... Oh god, what's this thing doing? What just happened? Okay, I think it might have actually just been a correct delivery. Maybe. Maybe it delivered acetylene a minute ago. I don't know, I wasn't paying attention. Because it should just sit there, happily, until fuel unload station opens up. So, I don't know what that was. Anyway, so... We've got it's kind of two goals right now, improving copper production, and then we want to make HCl, right? The overarching goal right now, the big goal, is niobium. And that's got a lot of steps to it, and we're trying to do it all train-based, which means we're consistently adding things into our train network, we're consistently learning new systems for our train network, so it's going to be a really long road for niobium, partially because I'm doing it the right way, or at least the train way. So that's part of the situation right now. Now, copper may need to be improved before we get there. Although it looks like we're doing okay. Never mind. We just needed some time to buffer up stuff. It looks like steel is even starting to catch up because I've been faffing about with rails for so long, so we should be fine. So let's start working on HCl, which we also determined we want to provide to the network, to the train network when I say that. So HCl, if you already have lamps, is quite easy. It's literally just lamps and saline water. That's it. And we're gonna get sodium hydroxide, which is this weird combination of we need it and we also need to trash it. So sodium hydroxide. There's also another way to get it. If we want to use our slaked lime, I can get it directly from salt. Now, what's weird, though, is we're already getting this from salt, right? Because 10 salt will make 10 saline water, which will end up making 2 sodium hydroxide. But this is 10 salt to 10 sodium hydroxide, so it's a much higher output per salt if the goal is sodium hydroxide. So later, if we're short on sodium hydroxide, I may start making this recipe, which uses the slaked lime from the acetylene recipe, which right now I'm just trashing it, because if I remember correctly, that's kind of the only purpose of slaked lime. No, I guess slaked lime is used in a lot of places, but it's mostly alien life and later tech stuff. For now, it's also used in purified quartz tiles, I guess, but those are so white, I don't know if I'll ever use those, except for, like, art. Anyway, for now, we are making HCl, so... But yeah, sodium hydroxide is used in all sorts of places. So we'll definitely want to provide that to the network, and then eventually we'll have to trash excess. So we'll handle that. But yeah, let me pin this, and I might need more. Is this a big enough build for it? 64 a second feels like a lot. I don't know. I do want to start using trains for personal use, but the problem is they don't auto-fuel. And that makes it really annoying to, like, have to pop fuel into it, and then you can get it to drive you somewhere. Putinator did say they were planning on updating the quick ride mod to be supportive of trains, so you can pop onto the rail network with a train, and I assume it would auto fuel it, and that would be great. Right, I'm gonna take a few. I'm gonna leave 20 for my inventory. I'm gonna put the rest in the network. And what am I going to grab? Well, I guess we're gonna grab a little bit of everything because I need these buildings. I need a bunch of electrolyzers, which looks like I'm running out of steam engines. Probably gonna need small parts. I don't even know what all we need. Pipes, maybe. I'm gonna take more loaders. I'm also gonna go to 20 loaders, just because we're gonna use more and more of those as we go. Engines? No, good on engines. ACIs, we're fine. Small parts, I'm fine. Okay. So it's probably just gonna be plates and stuff. Yeah, I still can't make more because we're out of aluminum plates, which I now have tons of aluminum. Which is great. And now we need iron. Copper. Titanium, I'll do one more stack. We're also out of lead because of all those fluid buildings I built. And duralumin, same story. Okay. Why don't I grab some more rubber while I'm here? Uh-oh, we have no rubber. How's rubber production been going? It was really bad for apparently the better part of 5 hours. What do you guys think was wrong? Was it my Vrauks that were broken? Because Vrauks weren't running? Maybe that's what it was. Yeah, it might have been a Vrauk problem. But we're running again. It's good. I'm gonna skip him ahead to the next part. Okay. Anyway, chemical plants. Those are alien life, I think. No, that's bioreactors. Chemical plants are coal processing? No. Fusion energy. High tech. Oh, come on, man. pH? Growers? Wait, where are they? I know I could search for it, but at this point I'm stubborn. They're not AE. Oh, they are coal processing. I just missed it. Okay. 3 of those. And 7 of those. Let's go a little higher on this. Let's go to like 100. So 10 and 4 is that. And then 3 more of these. Oh, need more steam engines. Okay. There we go. Now, what am I almost out of that I can't make that many more of these? Because I have a ton of small parts. I have a bunch of aluminum. I have a bunch of circuit boards. I have a bunch of steam engines, so it must be something in the tar processing unit. Is it steel? Yeah, I'm out of steel. Okay. You know, the other fun part is we're really close to logistics bots. I say really close. We still need niobium first, but that's not that far away. Okay, and by the way, our playtime is getting, as you notice, ever closer to the fabled 100 hours. And like I said, we are going to do a stream. We're going to do a big stream to celebrate 100 hours. It's going to be a combination of a base overview episode, which I will kind of make a separate episode on YouTube. It'll be the like first 100 hours in Pi, and I'm going to like walk through the milestones, and I'm gonna kind of walk players through like, this is what that build looks like, and here are the resources you need. So it'll be a little bit of like a kind of like a highlight video, like a highlight of Pi. So we'll do our 100-hour Pi-light episodes, and we'll kind of walk through all the major milestones that we got through in 100 hours and what those look like and how we built them. So that'll be a fun one, and then we'll actually just play for a couple hours, progressing the base as usual. So that will be, I'm setting a date right now. It will be on Sunday, March 30th. So Sunday, March 30th. I haven't picked the exact time yet. I will post an announcement to the community here on YouTube, and I will also post on my Crydania Discord. So It'll probably start somewhere in the morning-ish, Eastern US time. So UTC-wise, that's +4 for me, I think. I can't remember. I think it's +4 right now. So UTC, it'll probably start somewhere around 2 p.m. to 3 or 4 p.m. I'm just guessing. It's possible that plans change and I have to do like an evening stream or something. But that's what I'm planning on for now. Sunday, March 30th. Historically, I've just seen more people able to show up to streams on Sundays than Saturdays. And I will record it all and put it on YouTube as well. So don't worry. If you're just a YouTube person... If you're just a YouTube person, you notice how I just totally shamed the entire community in one sentence there? If you're just a YouTube person, then there we go. I knew that could be better. No, I'm just kidding. You just YouTubers are great. But anyway, if you are only watching on YouTube, then the episodes will release as normal. But it'll be back to having, you know, a face cam and Twitch chat, which I know some of you have missed anyway. So I didn't really know what I was doing when I walked over here, and that shows. Because we really wanted to walk over here to make our HCl factory. Alright. Here we go. Now, should I just do niobium in this chunk? Like... We've got so much space. So yeah, there's this kind of weirdness where like, why put HCl onto a train when I could just use it directly? I don't know. I don't know the best way to do all this. We're still learning. To be honest, I've never done a massive train base. The biggest train base I ever had was Angel Bob Omni, which was not actually... It was a pretty decently sized train base, but because it was Angel Bob's, things just get out of hand so fast with Bob's, and it just kind of gets ridiculous. But yeah, I think I'm just going to put these down here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Is that a big enough space? No, let's do a space of 5 or even 6 units minimum from the train network. Just to give it a little bit of space. Say, I think you're neat, but I also respect your distance. We need a little bit more space than that. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so here's the weird part. And I've run into this same phenomena with... Let me get a power pull on this. I've run into the same issue with the logistics bot network. And this phenomena is like, if we use this saline water directly from the source, rather than a request from the train, that means I no longer have the ability to prioritize this. Like I'm basically saying right now that this is high priority. Like this will always get saline water before trains will. And is that what we want? Right? And the question that I'm kind of asking myself right now is, are we ever going to prioritize different requesters in the train network? Like, are we going to be like, oh, this thing's a higher priority than that thing? And we might, right? Like if it's something based in making power, we might make that a higher priority. But in general, my answer is no. We want to make sure we have enough to supply everything that's requesting saline water. So I'm thinking it kind of doesn't matter, because in most cases, like I just said, we're going to want enough to supply everything. So I think we're okay to just use the saline water here. But it is worth considering sometimes that, like, if you do it this way, it's just annoying to load saline water onto a train and then have another train stop right next to it that's requesting saline water. Like, that just seems like unnecessary traffic and unnecessary train usage, and it feels like saving myself that hassle is better than having the perfect priority system for saline water, where in most cases, if I don't have enough saline water, I'm just going to make more saline water. Like, that's the goal. So I don't think I need to prioritize it. Anyway, these all need to run on a gob heaping smack of power. So the gob heaping smack of power is quite large. And then, ooh, these are big boys. Oh my. And then those, I'm sure I could have nestled them in if I had tried hard enough, but whatever, it's fine. We'll just do the standard situation here, here, and here. And then, what's the output per? It's 1 per second, so we need 2 mechanicals or a single regular. I think I'm gonna start using regular inserters a little bit more often. And I'll run those, where will I run those to? I'll probably run them to the left and then over, or to the right and then, we'll go to the right. So copy that. Oh, it didn't like that. Because of reasons. Underground, 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 underground. Okay, so that's all set up. It didn't do the inserters though for the ones that it didn't like, so we gotta do that. Wrong inserter type. Do that. Uh-oh, that one won't go, so we'll put it there. That. Okay, there we go. So there's all of our sodium hydroxide, which is what, NaOH? No, that would be... Is OH hydroxide? All my Greg Tech New Horizons days are not working for me. Sodium hydroxide is NaOH. I was right! I did it! I did a thing. I did a chemistry. Go me. Alright. Anyway. I know you guys don't care about my chemistry accomplishments. Okay, so the chlorine needs to be connected, and the whatchamacallit needs to be connected. So let's do that here. Alright, now the ratios are exact. I mean, it is 1:1, 1:1, chlorine to hydrogen, so I shouldn't have any problems with that. And then we need lamp input for these. And then they do a lamp output, which is kind of a thing that we'll have to address. So here's what I'm thinking. What I'm thinking is we provide the output directly onto a belt, and then we side load after that, and then that's the input. So if I were to do this with the main lamp line, I mean, it's kind of bulky, so that feels like that might not be necessary. I could always just do something like this where I'm like input priority right. So I'm just always recycling the lamps first, and then the other lamps are coming in here. Because it's a 50% chance to get the lamp back. So technically it could buffer up a bunch of extras. Because every time it uses a lamp, if we get the lamp back... No, sorry. It never gives me back more than I used. So as long as we're no, this is good. There's 0 chance of this failing. And then I just need... Well, let's see. Wait, how do I do this? I just need to reroute that one to be the upper one, is all. And then that one goes back to being that. And then we're making sure they're always on the far side. So that means the lamps here need to go onto the far side of this belt. And then that should do it. That there, put that there, reroute these. And then there's no spoilage here. I just had a moment of fear where I'm like, oh my god, I think it's gonna spoil. But yeah, 0.25, 0.125 back, so just an input anywhere should work. Yeah, 3 and 4. Let's save ourselves some lamps. Alright, and then we just gotta power those up. And there you go, hydrogen chloride. HCl is a go, and we're gonna load it up probably through here. Craft another one of those, connect it, and then there we go. Should be enough HCl for a while. Okay. Boom. Hydrogen chloride. Provided to the network. Beautiful. So, math-wise, it's half of a lamp per 100. It would be 5 lamps per 1,000. 50 lamps per 10,000. 500 lamps. So we're going to be spending 1,250 lamps to totally fill this pie tank. That's actually not that bad. I'm not too worried about that. Sweet! Now, the power cost is going to be pretty drastic for a while, but it'll back up after not too long. Cool. HCl is done and provided to the train network. Alright, what's next? What's next for our heroes? Is it organic solvent? Which requires olefins? Elephants, as I like to call them sometimes. Or is it the zinc chloride? What is the old zinc chloride doing? It's only used in 4 places. Interesting. When something's only used in 4 places, its stack size is the same. The density is the same between zinc plates and zinc chloride. Then I start trending towards maybe we should always make zinc chloride on site. Because there's only going to be 4 sites where I ever have to make it anyway. Right? And that's a Chem Sci thing. This is a Pi Science 2 thing. Bakelite. Or Bakelite. Or Bakelite. Or, I mean, it looks like Bakelite. I don't know how else to say that. And then the filter olefins. That's also a Chem Sci thing. So it seems to me like making zinc chloride and providing it to the train network is unnecessary because it'll only be a few places that I would need. Well, the problem is how many places do I need these things, I guess. But even then, it's so weird to think about. It's like, am I going to provide activated carbon to the network? It's kind of, you're just always asking about all these different chains. At what point do I provide something to the network, or do I just make it on site with its ingredients, right? And like, that's always a big question with train bases. So like, I'm thinking, I mean, this is only used in 2 places in the entire game. So that one, we could make the zinc chloride on site. Oh, this is just another way to get methanol, which there are lots of ways to make methanol. So yeah, I'm thinking we don't provide zinc chloride. We might provide activated carbon though to the network. That one is used in a lot of different places. So activated carbon could be something that we provide. And it's the first thing that actually uses coal dust as an ingredient that is needed. So now coal dust is not just trash, which is interesting. And it uses nitrogen. So let's work towards activated carbon. Because we're going to need it for refined syngas, and we're going to need it for other things later. So let's make a little activated carbon block here. And coal dust, do we even have a way to make it yet? Not really. Not really. Later you get the ability to ball mill. When do we get that? You can furnace fiber to coal dust. Okay. And then in this one, or is it this one? Yeah, it's not until blue science that you get the ability to just turn coal into coal dust. But soon we will get the ability to turn fiber into coal dust, which is pretty good. For now, I think we actually have to use the method of just getting the coal dust out of the coal crushing process, which is kind of rough. But what it looks like, that makes half as much. So we put 33% on this? Or no, 50% on this? No, is that right? No, I'm still getting too much. 33.333. Yeah, 333. There we go. Okay, so that is absurd, right? Like we're getting way extra coal. So do I take a detour into Kickalx to make fiber for coal dust? I mean, I don't need anywhere near that much activated carbon for what it's worth. This is like 10 times more than I need. So I would only need 20 raw coal for this. So it's not quite as crazy as it sounds, but yeah, the coal dust is going to be a thing. If I was making the coal dust with the fiber method, how would that look? It would be 15 fiber a second, which is also a lot. From Kickalx, that would be 3 Kickalx a second in 120 wood processing units. Good God. Is that right? Depends. What is my current wood processing unit? They are a crafting speed of 1. Is that because I did the turd for it? What turd did I do? Turd. Selected. Fastwood forestry. Just changed the recipe. I didn't do anything with the wood processing units. But it did change. So what would make wood processing units slower? Is there a wood? Oh, there is just a wood processing unit upgrade. Okay, so one of these makes them slower. It's this one. And then they require saw blade modules. But then the saw blade modules increase their speed. Oh, I get it. Okay. It goes to having 3 module slots. So then that would speed it up by 300%. So it actually keeps the same speed, and then you get a productivity bonus. Ooh, productivity bonus. Well, that sounds cool. Anyway, what is this? Tree seeds made from anthracene oil instead of moss? What the heck? Acts as a pre-treatment step, allowing uses in electronics-grade PCB manufacturing. You can make... What on earth is this game? A new production method involving extracting polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons from high-grade distillates. What is this game? Wait, isn't that the recipe we were looking at for high distillates in the last episode? Or 2 episodes ago? I think it might have been. I don't think I realized. Oh, yeah, I didn't even realize that was a turd recipe. I thought that was just one that we get. So the only one we actually get if we don't do that turd is the Arcad. That's also a turd recipe. So the only one we get is condensed distillates and naphtha. Okay, interesting. Okay, wow. I don't know why, but I love these like oil chains. I think they're so cool. Just all the different stuff. Anyway, what would 3 kickalk actually cost us in the early kickalk recipe, which is the one that we would get? Kickalk. We actually get 3 from the beginning. Oh, okay, no, sorry. We get 2 from the beginning. We get the clay or the lamp and sand and everything else method. Surely the lamp, sand, and water method is not worth it. We only get 20% more for quite a huge cost of, you know, clay only costs electricity right now. And the seeds only cost electricity. So adding in the cost of sand and water are also only electricity, but the lamp is not a non-zero cost. I have automated it though. So we can at least consider what that would look like. But yeah, that's not the one. So this is one. No, that's a turd replacement. What? Oh, we get seeds back. One of the kickalk turds gives you seeds back. So we want the ones that are not that. Don't show hidden. Does that even change anything? Not really, no. Show disabled? No, that's not it. The locked recipes. Ah. I think by not showing locked recipes, we're better off for now. Yeah, the turd ones are locked. Okay. So these are our 2 actual options that we'll have. So we're not going to have 1,890 kickalk plantations. I'm going to tell you that right now. But what about 20 modules? Still 90 kickalk plants, and that's not considering the seed cost. The seed cost is pretty huge. Wow. That seed cost is massive. It's more than 50%. It's 60% of what you make, which means this needs to be 1/0.6 times 100 to give us what we actually need. Did I do that right? No. No, it needs to be 1/0.4. 100/0.4. There we go. There we go. Now we have an excess of 3. So, compared to this, where the seed cost then is a lot less, it's only 50% of our output. Has to go back to seeds, which means that only has to produce 200% of what it needs to produce. So we get a difference of almost double. Okay, so when I was talking about lamps being pretty expensive, it's because this actually benefits you hugely. You need twice as many. It's not exactly twice, but it's close. Kickalk plantations if you're using the non-lamp recipe. Using the version with lamps and sand, and the sand is not 0, but it's not huge, right? Like 5 sand a second, and this is for a huge build, mind you, is only 2 washers and 8 soil extractors, you know, and we're talking about for 120 buildings. So relatively, it's not very much of these. And then 0.5 lamps a second. Like, how many lamps a second did I automate? Wasn't it absurd? Yeah, I did like 5 lamps a second or something. Ridiculous. So like 0.5 lamps a second is not that much. Where did I do the lamps? In the small parts world? Yeah, I did 6 lamps a second automated. Granted, I probably don't have that much iron and copper and all that, so that is still 1 glass a second. I'm thinking for the kick-out build. 1 glass a second, 1 point something, 1.5 copper plates a second, and half of an iron plate per second for that kick-out build. Which is in here. But again, that would be for an absurd amount of kick-out. We're not doing 5 activated carbon a second. Let me bump that down to 1. Even that's probably more than we'll do, but those numbers are a little bit more reasonable. Okay. So, I mean, I guess what I'm trying to decide right now is just when we do our first kick-out, am I going to do the lamp version or the non-lamp version? And I feel like I should start with the lamp version because I already automated lamps. And it's just way more effective. So then the question becomes, is that how I want to get coal dust? Or do I just want to crush up some rock coal? Crushing up raw coal certainly seems easier. Okay, sorry, I'm back. I had to take a quick break. Where was I? So we were looking at kick-out versus coal. I think I'm just gonna do the coal. I wanted to look at kick-out so that it wasn't like I knew from the beginning that the probable result is that we just use raw coal for this, especially because we have so much of it all over the place. We've got the giant patch here, we've got the giant patch up there. I think I have a giant patch down here. Or no, I guess there's another one there, another one there. Like, we've got all the raw coal. There's even one to the west, there's one to the east. We have all the coal. So yeah, I think we're just gonna set up some crushing. The reason this is useful, it's not gonna be this big. It'll be much smaller to start, probably half that size. But the reason it'll be nice is that will enable what will then be a coal power plant. And red hot coke based stuff. So what I'll probably do for now is set that up probably over here. I'll just mine it and set that up on the south side of the tracks, and then we'll just belt across the coal dust. I won't even put it on a train yet. Or will I put it on a train? Because we'll need coal dust in other places. This is where things start to get tricky. Because coal dust is something I want on a train. Is that the easiest way to... Can I just... Control F opens that. Alt F opens factory search. What opens Factoriopedia? Or recipe book? Control E? Okay, I'm gonna have to get used to that. Yeah, coal dust is used in a few places. We can also make syngas directly from coal dust eventually. Yeah, I think I want to put it on a train because we're going to request coal dust as a byproduct from all sorts of places. I'm trying to figure out how to do this, though. This feels weird. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that really all I need for a full belt? Yep, sure is. That's just ridiculous. I guess I could do it this way, even. So I do this and this, and then I do this and this. Ugh, that just looks cool too. And then there, 2 belts of raw coal. Couldn't be easier. Like, it's ridiculous. Imagine if we had legendary big miners from Space Age. It would be basically infinite coal. I mean, it's already basically infinite, but it would be an order of magnitude more basically infinite than it already is. All right, build the belts over here. And now we're gonna need a crap ton of resources to craft all these secondary crushers. Secondary crushers are not cheap. That's the downside here. So that's gonna cost a lot of resources. So secondary crushers are in fusion. Yeah, 25 circuits apiece, 40 steel, 20 duralumin. Yikes. The good news is we have a lot of all those things, so I'm not too concerned. And circuits, we have more. Look, circuits are even fully backed up. So I'm just gonna steal a few from there. We'll go steal some steel. Steal some steel. Wow. That sounded so weird coming out of my mouth because they're the same word. And my brain didn't even connect it until I said it, and it sounded weird. All right, so there's 10 sec crushers. I think I actually want... What do I want to do? Also, do we have the coarse coal crushing recipe yet? Yeah. That's more secondary crushers, though. LOL. Yeah, here, let me... This is gonna be ingredient input mode. So for now, turning 1 belt of raw coal, we need 15, 5, and 2.5. Okay. What's the actual rate? We get slightly less than 1 per building. Here we get more than 1 per building. Coarse coal has a purpose though, because it is the densest material I can get right now. Coarse coal is 10 megajoules a pop, and it stacks to 100, so that's literally 1 gigajoule per stack. So, like, you're actually losing fuel value by crushing it back into regular coal. However, that being said, there are no uses for coarse coal. It just exists to turn into coal. So that means I'll probably just crush it back into coal just so we don't have to deal with other resources. But if I was powering a coal power plant, I would actually just want to use the coarse coal. Now, is the same true for crushed coal? Here we have 30 megajoules and it goes to 40. No, yeah, this one is very much worth it. And this stage is very much worth it too. We have 45 megajoules and we go to 30 plus 40 is already 70. And I'm not even counting the little bit from the coal dust. So these two steps massively increase the raw coal output. But this one actually decreases. So I might just keep the coarse coal, to be honest. Since we're probably gonna pipe these into a coal power plant anyway. And then we're turning 45 megajoules into... Oh, I think I did the math wrong on this. This is 60 megajoules. No, 30 megajoules goes into 40. No, I didn't. That's right. Yeah, 40 plus 40 is 80. Plus another 25 is 105 megajoules out of 45 megajoules. About 2.5 multiplier. Now we are using 8.6 of those megajoules to power the buildings. But... And it's just easier to just have a second belt of raw coal in most cases. So yeah, I don't actually know what I'm doing here. But we'll just do that for now. The coal power plant, have I even researched coal power? No, I need to do that. Let's queue that up. Because we don't really need the power this second, but I will want to utilize it. They consume 10 megawatts per building to produce a lot more than 10. We looked at the ratio back then. I don't remember what it is. But... okay, so 5 automated screeners. And I need more secondary crushers, which looks like I'm out of small parts. Probably out of a lot of things. Duralumin. Oh, that's the rest of my steel for now. Can I improve steel production? Nope, steel is doing the best it can. So that's just a matter of time. We can move to molten iron at some point, but that's a big project that I don't really want to do at this exact moment. Oh. Small parts. There's one more of those. I think 3 or 4. I'm out of circuits. Okay, there we go. And then if I want to build the other secondary crushers, I can. For the coarse coal. I mean, I could even load trains with the coarse coal. Trains would run on for a very long time on coarse coal. Missing repair packs. No, we're not. Oh, wait. Do they just not go while you're moving, maybe? That might be the case. Now, let's get rid of all these bad boys. And then... go ahead and start setting this up. We're gonna need another depot here. And then we've got a bit of a problem. Our fueling line. That fixed. Now, did that also mess with a signal? No, it's just the chain signal right here. Is that right? Yeah, I guess that's right. I guess we could have had a couple closer ones just so it'd go slightly sooner, but whatever. Okay, so that's all done, and then that way we can load the coarse coal, or the coal dust, into there. And at least for now, I might just belt the coal dust, and later we can hook up stuff to the train network, because we'll want to use byproduct coal dust first, which I guess this is byproduct coal dust, but it's kind of not, because we're kind of making it in order to use the coal dust. It's very confusing, depending on how you look at things, what your actual goal is. Yeah, let's just set this up right here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Goodness. Three, 4. Because what we'll do is we'll have the belt of input. Each building needs 1 per second and outputs 1.1 per second. So what I should be able to do... actually, I have a new idea. We're going to take one splitter and do this kind of thing. So that one belt becomes 2 belts. 2 half belts. And then we'll load onto the far side. And so this should work without needing any long inserters. So then power. If I really want to go fancy, I could put a power pole in the middle, and that powers the inserters and Question is, will it make it to the next pair of 2? And it, of course it won't. So I would have to have a second. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so something like that, and then these outsert, outsert, insert, insert, outsert, outsert, insert, insert. Okay, and then that's a pair. Buildings, copy that. Well, I guess that's gonna be slightly weird, but it should work fine. Bada bing, bada boom. Delete that last one. Now, what is that gonna mean? It's gonna mean a couple weird things. This last one's gonna need to take from both. Ah, drat nabbit. I didn't do powered inserters. Whoops. Whoopsies. Alright, get that fixed. Silly me. So yeah, basically the last building we're gonna have, because each of these is gonna take 7, so there's gonna be 0.5 left on each belt. So what we'll do is we'll take 0.5 off that belt and 0.5 off this belt. And then the outputs are on the far side, so we're actually gonna do this. Or no, sorry, we're gonna do this and this. But they can't be linked, which is kind of annoying. So then that will output the final stuff there. And this one will output the final stuff here. Okay, that should work. Put a lamp on one end, put a lamp on the other end because it's such a big build. Get power hooked up. Apparently the power didn't connect all the way through. Oh, I screwed something up here. Alright, there we go. So there is crushing of 1 full belt of raw coal. You can easily add a second later by just copying that. And then the total outputs are more than a full belt. Dang. I didn't realize that. Shoot. Shoot dang even. Forgot to look at that. Yeah, they input 1, they output 1.1. So basically the last 2 buildings need to have a different plan. Also, I did this wrong anyway. Alright, we made some mistakes. Mistakes were made. Mistakes were made. So the problem is the coal dust. I could put coal dust on a totally different belt. I think instead what I'm gonna do... What am I gonna do? I have 2 lanes available. I need a 3rd lane. I just straight up need a 3rd lane for the last buildings. Because if we just do this many plus this, 13. Well, but the problem is 1 set of 7 is too much for 1 lane because it's 7.7 units out. So I can only do 6 buildings in a row before I have to do something different. So these 3 all have to do something different. So then what we'll do is we'll actually just delete all that. This is where things start to change. So I'll do something weird like this. Well, this one's kind of annoying because we have to get raw coal all the way to the last building. But yeah, now I can do like that. And then this one can already have done that. So now we've got our outputs. The buildings can still be fed with raw coal in. This one can do raw coal in like that. So now those last 3 buildings have their inputs, and then they'll put their outputs on like a different side of the belt, which that actually should work properly. And this should work properly. Wait. It goes to the right side when it's in line, when it's facing. Oh, so I actually want it. No, I want it on the other side. Yeah, this would be doing the wrong way. Okay. I think that's good. That's on the close side. So now we're putting it on a separate belt side. So now we've got what is slightly more than 1 belt worth of all the outputs. Because of that, I can't use a single splitter to pull off the coal dust. Once I've pulled off the coal dust from both, then I will have exactly 1 belt. But we have to pull the coal dust off of each one separately. It's a weird thing, but if I were to just filter out coal dust, there would be times where we're getting more than 15 a second of everything. At least I think this is one of those situations. Because we're getting 16.5 total units of stuff. And if there's 2 coal dust pieces on both halves at the same time, it'll have to pause for a second to get them both onto the coal dust side. So like that sort of thing can create tiny little gaps. When you're dealing with Exacxes, you don't want those tiny little gaps. But if we do this, and we do upper priority left coal dust like that, and then that way coal dust is now doing its own thing like this. Now all the coal dust will be on that belt. These 2 will be exactly 1 full belt now with no coal dust. Okay, and then from there, we want to filter out the coarse coal to go to the 5 screeners. I think I'll just put on the top side here. I guess now that I think about it, it'd be smarter to filter out the coarse coal. Sorry, crushed coal. Yeah, and this one just stays mixed of regular coal and coal dust. But filtering out the crushed will leave us with less than a full belt, so we're fine on that. And then this will go and input to these buildings. And we'll do something like that. I'm guessing a mechanical inserter is fast enough. Yeah, they only need 1 a second. They output 2.65 a second though. So let me move those over because we're gonna need even 2 inserters is not enough. Wow. So So we need a lot of output inserters. 2.65. How many mechanicals is that? 4. But an underground belt can't span 10 squares. Should I just use loaders? Feel wasteful. Let's do this. Because these guys are going to output almost a full belt. Which is crazy. But yeah, this should work. So horizontally flip that. And then something like this. Okay, copy that. And then I think that's pretty good. And that should get all the outputs merged equally. Get everything powered up here. And then all the crushed coal is going that way. Now, do we need these to be sided any different? It's only 5 per second total, so it doesn't matter that this isn't like balancing, you know, onto the... We'll have a little bit more on the left side than the right side, and that's fine. It doesn't matter. It can all be on one lane if it needs to be. Okay, and now let me grab the rest of what's on this belt. Just to make sure it didn't have any weird stuff on it. And then... now we've got all of our things, and here's the rest of our things, and that in total should be lots of goodies. And now we shouldn't see any more coarse coal on this. It should only be regular coal and coal dust. Perfect. And then I'm going to get rid of all my ingredients. And now this should be coal, coarse coal, and coal dust. So now we can filter the coal dust away from each. Coal dust. Put that on a belt. And then there's coal dust. Coal and coarse coal. Okay. Cool, cool, cool. With the coal, I don't know if I have an easy way to deal with it yet. I guess that would be it. Well, making the coarse fraction is kind of annoying though. Red hot coke decays. Oh my god. That's crazy. I mean, it makes sense because it's only red hot for so long, but wow, that's crazy. LOL. Glad I caught that just now. Wouldn't have ever. You know, in my mind, decay is only linked to biological things, so that just feels weird, but it makes sense. Anyway, I'm trying to decide right now if I want to belt this coal dust straight up here for my activated carbon build, or if I want to put it on a train and let trains handle it. I feel like we're going to be doing a lot of global signals at some point because we're going to want to know, like... This is so tricky. I remember doing this with the phosphoric acid build, because there are times we're gonna need coal, in which case we want this to be running. There are times we're gonna need coal dust, in which case we also want this to be running. But if both of them are backed up, I don't want it to be voiding either of them. So it's like we want to void coal dust if coal is needed and is empty. We want to void coal if coal dust is needed and is empty, but we don't want to void either of them if both of them are full and they're not needed, right? So you end up with this kind of weird system. I've dealt with this many times before. But yeah, let's just put coal dust on the train system. We like the train system. We like trains. All right, let's get a provider station. Basic provider. Go ahead and merge that. And I think that's it. So this is called coal dust provide. Sometimes I might put like what it's from. You know, there will be a lot of different places providing coal dust. So this is coming from coal crushing. And then now we've got coal. Lots of coal. And some coarse coal. I think for simplicity right now, I'm just gonna crush the coarse coal. Yeah, let's do that. Coarse coal. Oh, it's right there. Goes that way. And then that goes up here. And then we've got 3 more secondary crushers. Actually need to be up further, because we have 2 belts of coal here. It's literally too much for 1 belt. It's 20 a second. So then the coarse coal can come here and do something like this, and then we load that in. That's 1 in, 1.33 out. So 1 in. 1.33 out. The problem is, like, here, let's prioritize the left one. So then there's more space on this one. And then that should always leave enough space for these. Okay. So there we go. I'm a little bit worried. Because these are gonna push coal in. Yeah. I'm a little bit worried about this prioritization system. So instead, I'm gonna do something different. I'm gonna just output back onto the same belt. And then what we'll do is I'll put coal there, input priority right. Okay. So that way we will use the coal that we get from coarse coal crushing first. Otherwise that would be a little bit of a problem and it would build up. Okay, so we just did a big giant coal crushing setup. Nice. It's been another productive episode. We will provide this coal. And now we've got a huge source of coal going on. Let's go ahead and get that going. And this one's going to be called coal provide from coal crush. And we actually have 2 input belts, which is nuts. So how am I going to get rid of all this? I think we're going to use a power plant for most of it. But the problem is we're actually going to not be able to get rid of all of it with just a power plant, I don't think. So we're going to have to figure out how to trash this stuff. But in theory, this is all working properly. So yeah, I'll probably do a coal power plant that pulls coal off of this with priority, because that's even exactly how we want to prioritize things. And then the rest can go to like red hot coke making or something. But we're literally going to need a coal trashing system, which we just looked and it's like there's not a great way to do it. The best way to trash coal is red hot coke, and then we just... You might be able to burn the red hot coke, to be honest. Maybe? Yes. Feels a little bit like cheating, but you can just burn the red hot coke into ash, even though you can't burn coke into ash, because red hot coke itself doesn't have a fuel value. The other solution, if you don't want to be cheesy about it, would be to make the red hot coke into coke, and then the coke itself, you can do this one where you DDC the coke, and then you just void the ash and the other stuff. And ash, we actually have a real way to void that now, rather than the silly burning ash to make more ash system. Now we can just turn it into flue gas and it goes away forever. So we have a way in the gas refinery now, if we want to do that. So yeah, that's probably the next step, is to figure out how to get rid of all this coal. I'm still considering this one. We don't get that until blue signs. That's the bummer. So I'd have to get my course fractions from solid separating. But 3 course fractions gets rid of 30 coal. So every 3 seconds, I get 3 course fractions. So that's 10 coal per second. So I'd only need 4 solid separators running on this. And we would need... I already lost my... It is 12 soil a second. And these are naturally 2, so I need 6 soil extractors to get that level of course fraction. And then DDC-wise, this is 3 seconds to process 10 coal, so that's 3. I need 12 DDCs. So 12 DDCs and what did I just say? Like 6 soil extractors and a couple solid separators would get me 40 coal, well, 20 coal a second into 140 tar per second. I mean, it's free tar. That's better than just disappearing my coal. And the tar I can just sinkhole for now. So I actually kind of like that method because it's a way to trash the coal if I don't want it, and a way to get free tar out of it. Though what am I gonna do with that tar right now? This feels so weird, especially when like over here, you know, all of this is going on. Like, I could just bring the coal over to get burned in these guys to make steam for my, you know, coke processing and tar processing chain. So that's an option as well. Why are these, like, kind of backed up? I guess they're not. They're running. So, like, we could just ditch it, you know? Oh. God, I'm so dumb. I could just burn the coal in boilers. How many boilers would I need, though? We would need a lot of boilers, but we could just burn them in boilers and then, you know, get some power from it or just vent it. Why did that not occur to me? This has happened multiple times now. I feel so dumb. I think part of it is because you didn't used to be able to vent steam, and I think somehow that's like hardwired into my subconscious. And so I've just forgotten that that's a thing you can do. We can just burn it. We can just freaking burn it. One boiler gets rid of 1 coal per second, roughly. So I would need about 40 boilers. That is a lot of boilers, to be fair. But they're kind of small, so 40 boilers is probably smaller than this other tar thing I was talking about. Or I just do 3 basic oxygen furnaces and do this version, and then we have red hot coke that I can just burn. I don't know. We'll figure it out. For now, the important part is we have coal dust for our activated carbon. Cha-ching! And that leaves us with needing what else? Pretty much nothing, because the sodium hydroxide that we need is probably coming... Let's see. If we need 8 hydrogen chloride, that's going to give me how much sodium hydroxide? Is that perfect ratio that I see? It is. The 0.4 zinc chloride goes to the 0.8 sodium hydroxide, and we end up using exactly that amount. Interesting. So if the point of making your HCl is to end up making zinc chloride, you actually don't have any sodium hydroxide is net zero, so you can consider it not to even be a part of the situation. So that one's kind of interesting, because then that makes me want to ship around HCl a little bit less, because then we'll always need to ship the HCl with zinc with sodium hydroxide to make the activated carbon. But that's only if we're making activated carbon, of course. There are other reasons we needed to make zinc chloride, right? Or other reasons we needed to use HCl is what I meant. Yeah, the HCl goes to a lot of other things that doesn't end up using sodium hydroxide. So never mind, we're fine, we're fine. Just for this particular case, the sodium hydroxide is net zero. And we're gonna make our activated carbon in this block anyway, so at least for now, I probably won't load sodium hydroxide onto trains. Sweet. All right, well, I will call that an episode there. As always, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think down in the comments, and I'll see you all in the next one.